Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Making 2, and today I'm going to be giving you part 10 of What If Naruto Was the Legendary Uchiha x Namikaze. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto the Ultimate Nature Bloodline over on Anime King 3 and enjoy that. And over on Anime King I post a brand new episode of What If Naruto Was the Legendary Neglected Uzumaki, so go ahead and enjoy that as well guys. And remember, if you're new, to go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Making family. And thank you for all of your help and your support, and yeah, without further ado, what do you say begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last spot we left off, Naruto and the others were able to inspire the others as the 42 Blacklight members joined up with Naruto and his gang. With that, they made their way as they stood at the front lines, waiting for the army. The army of stone ninjas that were marching brutally towards them. They waited calmly, preparing themselves as the stone ninjas showed themselves. Chaos ensued, as it was nothing but destruction and mayhem. Everything was sent to hell as Naruto went into this bloodlust that tremor across the entire field. He was like a walking stopping machine as he slaughtered. He ripped, he slaughtered, he killed. He did not hesitate to brutalize. Chaos spewed everywhere as the commander was taken down by Naruto. Naruto was about to slaughter the ones that give up, but Mikasa stopped him. They were supposed to be taken, and the Hokage would decide what to do with them. After that, Baku came, as he wanted to give Naruto the medal, the second highest medal of honor, but Naruto told him to give the families of the people that they lost today a sense of assurance and told them that they died for their village. Show them the honor that they deserve, as Naruto handwrite personal letters to all of them. They were given 2 weeks off, as Katetsu was able to find a peeping hole in the bathhouse, as Naruto and the others joined him when the girls arrived. Naruto took all the blame because Katetsu seemed to like Shizune, as Mikasa grabbed him and pulled him off as Armin was left alone. He knew that they didn't do it on purpose, but sometimes he felt lonely, as Rainjutsu came there, as she started teasing him as he asked her if she wanted to go on a date. To his surprise, she said yes. So with that, something started between them, as Naruto was with Mikasa, as he considered her as his precious person and he would never let anything happen to her. As she hugged him, she was happy. Beyond happy, she was delighted. The 2 weeks were then finally over. Minato and the others were making their way, but Oniki had a section that was torn off, and if Konoha managed to get through there, well, chaos would ensue. Oniki on the other hand knew about Naruto. Well, he didn't know who was under the mask, but he knew about the Blacklight troopers that guide the others to slaughter his man. As Baku came and gave him a mission, the mission didn't seem to make much sense. If this was a stronghold of Hidden Stone, why would they just have 1,000 men there? It didn't make much sense. But they had to follow their superior's order, so with that they made their way, as Naruto sent only 700. And he felt that strong struck her signature, but it was because of the seals that were messing with his signal. When they made their way inside, as Armin and the others made their way, they were surrounded. This mission was a sham, as Katetsu believed that Baku set them up, as they were surrounded by thousands. As Armin took Naruto mask, one of the closed masks, as he said that he was a commander. The man wrote and told him to give up. Perhaps the Hidden Stone would even spare their life, Tishikage would spare their life if they gave up information. But Katetsu and Armin could see that these men were out to kill them, as Naruto told him to fall back, but he could not, as Armin raised his kunai launcher, and all hell broke loose. So yeah guys, so basically as we left off. You guys can switch across the place, check it out for yourself. So what do you say begin this new episode? Naruto ran as fast as possible. His heart was pounding. Sweat was running across his entire body. He had his Tonto in his hand and his two-totem Sharingan was glaring at the castle in front of him. As soon as the seal activated, he knew that something bad happened and he was rushing to save his teammates. Behind him was the rest of his squad that was terrified, but the person that was worried the most was Shizune, Mikasa, and Renjutsu. It was then that explosions went off inside the castle as the entire place was shook, but he kept on running as fast as possible. The sound of kunai launchers going off reached his ears. The walls of the castle had seals on them to prevent him from climbing, so he flashed through hand signs. Water release. Water attacking Gorgon. Naruto released a monstrous water dragon that stood 50 feet tall from his mouth. Smash it! Mikasa watched as a massive dragon slammed into the wall, tearing it down and it would squash anyone that came in its path. Rangers and the others were shocked as the entire water was destroyed in a flash. One thing was clear, never ever challenge Naruto in a water style battle. Many of the envoys had leaped away. Seeing them coming, they flashed to hand sign, Earth style, Mud Dragon projectile jutsu. 5 Earth Dragon rose towards the ground, rushing towards the Blacklight members, but Naruto made a move. As everyone watches the Earth Dragons turn and start to attack their own people. As Anko saw Naruto two-totem Sharingan spinning, I was told that he was good at Genjutsu, but to control the entire Anbu squad member with her eyes. She thought in wonder she deflected onto and sliced the Anbu member in half. Genma, Hana, Mikasa take right flank. Use formation C. Yes, the 3 of them yell. Izumo, Renjutsu. Support Anko on the left. Burn these bastards. Naruto, we need to save Armin and the others, said Renjutsu. Do as you're told, I'll find them. Just make sure you stay alive until I return. Shizune, Iwashi, with me now. As the 3 of them sunned right in the castle, he knew they must be injured and would need medical attention. As a result, he got Iwashi and Shizune. Iwashi can make a barrier, Shizune can heal the wounded, and then he'll fend off the others and they will escape. He will never leave behind a comrade, never. But just as he completed his Shin, a hail of kunais were sent his way. He tried to dodge them all, but because of the hyper movement that he was moving in, 4 of them hit him right in the chest. He screamed in pain as he dropped to his knees. An entire platoon leaped forward to swing his head right off with their blades. Binding seal technique, a voice said. The envoy's eyes widened when several sealing tags came in front of them and they froze. As Iwashi stood there, they then looked up as they saw hundreds of Senmon come toward them, as Shizune impaled them from all angles as they dropped dead. Naruto, are you okay? She asked, as she saw blood seeping from his chest. Iwashi, set to the barrier. I'll heal him now, Shizune said. Got it, but I can't hold it for too long against these many envoys, he said, as he flashed through hand sign. Sealing technique, fire formation, he said. Iwashi Fuinjutsu was the best, and currently that they were up against Anvu, well, it was even hard for him to maintain it with so much of them. Shizune laid the coughing root down as she pulled the kunais from his chest as he hissed in pain. Hang in there, she said, as her hand started to glow, but then she realized that he wasn't able to breathe. As she pressed her lips against his, as she forcefully pushed air into his lungs with her chakra, as a wave of release washed over his body, as she separated from him, her hands glowing green. You'll be fine, but do not use any fire genjutsu. Your lungs need time to heal after this shock, she said, as he gave her a nod as his wounds healed rather quickly. Seconds. Captain, I can't hold them for any longer, Iwashi said. They're too strong, as he was struggling to hold at the barrier. As Naruto saw numerous envoys sending jutsus after jutsus to break the barrier, Naruto gave Shizune a look as she nodded. Iwashi, drop the barrier now. The boy looked back before he nodded as he dropped the barrier. As Naruto appeared beside Iwashi and slammed his hand down. Earth release. Mud wall jutsu. As the mud wall covered both boys, as Shizune leaped off it, jumping into the air. As the envoys jumped towards her, but vines came from the ground and grabbed their feet and pulled them down. Poison mist, Shizune said, as she opened her mouth and released purple smoke that filled the entire area. First nothing happened, but after 3 seconds, ninjas started to drop dead on the ground. Damn, I made it name one of them cough before he dropped. After a couple minutes, Naruto could sense that all of them were gone, as they were dead. As he dropped the mud wall, Shizune was perfectly unharmed despite the 20 envoys around her, dead. How are you still alive? Iwashi asked in surprise. A girl has to have some secret, she said, as Iwashi eyebrow twitched. Enough talking, let's move, said Naruto. And with that they move off. Shizune stick her tongue out to Iwashi, who shook his head. Girls are weird, he thought to himself. Time skip. Rain fell down freely from the sky. As Naruto froze, the tanto in his hand fell and dropped. His mouth opened to say something, but not a single word came from his throat. His Sharingan looked at the pool of blood on the ground. The three bodies lie there. Grief, anger, loneliness overwhelmed his mind, his consciousness. It overwhelmed him as his body moved automatically. His legs were not able to bear the weight as he dropped to his knees. Footsteps rushed behind him as two people entered the small area. Naruto, where is... Shizune came to a stop. Her eyes widened in shock. Aiwashi looked towards the three bodies. Katetsu, Armin, and Aoba. Their bodies were covered with kunais. Aoba had a kunai right into his skull. Blood was all over them. Armin was hit by about 12 kunais over his chest and legs. He was not moving. Katetsu's body was ripped apart by so many shurikens. Aiwashi couldn't count, and there was a large hole in his chest. Tears fell from Shizune's eyes. She rushed over. Katetsu, wake up, she said. Wake up, as she placed her hand on his chest, glowing green, as she started to pump air into his mouth, but he did not move. Naruto's eyes widened as he felt someone grab his hand. Weakly, it was Armin. Take care of Mikasa. I know you can do it. Thank. His hand dropped, and he did not move anymore. As Naruto's mind went blank, he remembered Armin's words. I'm coming with you. It's my time to protect this village, just like my parents and grandparents. I am going to be the harem king. That's my dream, said Katetsu. I'll fight by your side till the end, said Aoba. All of their words rushed through his mind. I watched the eyes widen as 50 envoys appear on them, and they had kunais ready to throw. Kill them! I watched you rush forward. Damn it, I won't make it in time. As the two were not looking, but then Naruto's head slowly turned around. The toe moist in his eyes started to twist, and they changed. Flashback. A young Naruto gathered chakra in his lungs. Fire style. Fireball jutsu. A small flame came from his mouth before transforming into a raging inferno that burned the grass and everything in front of him. The sound of clapping could be heard as Shisui came forward, patting Naruto on the shoulder. Congratulations, Naruto, he said. From today on, you're a proud member of Uchiha clan. You have completed the rite of passage by mastering the Fireball Jutsu, said Shisui with a big smile. Thank you, uncle, said Naruto with a smile, as Shisui ruffled his hair. If you keep on improving like this, I'm sure that you'll surpass me one day. But how can I surpass you, when I don't even have the Sharingan? Said Naruto in a frustrated tone. Naruto, you must understand, the Sharingan cannot be awakened by anyone. Even in the Uchiha clan, only a select special few can awaken these eyes. These eyes are granted evolution in a person through his or her situation, usually life or death, or grief. Something which I don't want to be the cause of your Sharingan, Shisui said. Is there any other stage than the three totem Sharingan? In our clan book, it is mentioned that someone called Madara Uchiha awakened the Mangita Sharingan. Is it true? As Naruto saw shock in his uncle's eyes. Where did you find that book, Shisui asked? Because that information was only known to a selected few in the clan. Before the first Hokage had died, he mentioned his fight with Madara to Tobirama, who conveyed this information to Kagami Uchiha about the side effects of the Mangita Sharingan, what it can have on someone's mental state. At that time, the Uchiha clan realized that it was the curse of hatred that those eyes bring. As Naruto chuckled, I wanted to learn a new fire jutsu, so I sneaked into the Jiji library, and I found it there. Sorry, he said. Shisui sighed tiredly. His father was growing old, and this little idiot always had a knack of peeping where he did not belong. Never do that again, it's not fitting for the son of Hokage or the heir of Namikaze clan. Understand? I'm sorry, said Naruto. Look, Naruto, said Shisui, as he got down Naruto's level. There's something in this world that needs to stay in the darkness. The Mangita Sharingan is one of those things. Since you already found out the truth, there's no need to lie. Such eyes do exist, and it's the ultimate form of the Sharingan. One which not even me or your grandfather don't have. In fact, after Madara, there was no one who awakened it as Shisui. How powerful are these eyes, Naruto asked. As Shisui saw looking in Naruto's eyes, Naruto wanted power so he can protect his family, but Shisui saw it there was a bit of power lost instead of Naruto. They are said to be able to control the abysses, and they have many supernatural abilities, which I don't know about. It is said that every Mangita is different from the other, but sometimes can be the same as well, says Shisui. But how did Madara master it if he was the first to obtain it? There would be no one to train him and teach him how to use the power. It's not like the eye could tell him what to do. Shisui smiled at Naruto's intelligence. A good question, the Mangekyou, does not need to be learned in acts, per your will. It's a part of your body that you can control, and Madara was the most powerful person till this day, so he was easy able to control it. Wow, such amazing power, said Naruto. Shisui flicked him on the forehead. Naruto, you have inherited the will of fire. It is your dream to protect your village and your people, so you must become powerful. But the man's value is not known by the power that he has. It's about the ideals and what he has to fight for. Ideals? Said the confused Naruto. Your ideals are the way that you see this world, and it is the same way that the world will see you. As he patted Naruto in the head. As Naruto got into deep thought as Shisui watched him, he was really thinking over those words. As Naruto then looked up as Shisui looked towards him, the Sharingan activated. Pain. No matter what pain overcome you in this war, never abandon your will and replace it with hatred. Never make excuses, and most of all, never give up on your beliefs, said Shisui. Why? Said Naruto. Because you're Naruto, Namikaze of Konoha, Shisui said. In the flashback, Aiwashi watched as Naruto's eyes change. The two totems split into a star pattern. That's the symbol of the devil. Just what is he? Aiwashi thought in shock. As Naruto's gaze shifted towards the hundreds of kunais and shurikens, what he did next shot the both of them. Disappear. A dark portal opened up above them, and all the kunais and shurikens were absorbed into it. What the hell? Many of the stone shinobi scars in shock as Naruto looked down in the water. So this is the power of my Mangita Sharingan, he said. Attack! Several Onrus leaped forward as Aiwashi and Shizune were terrified. As Aiwashi raised his hand, but blood splattered on him. He focused as he realized that Naruto was holding up all the blades with just one hand. A violent explosion of chakra exploded from Naruto that sent the Onrus sailing with their broken weapons as they crashed into the wall, some of them snapping their necks on impact. Aiwashi. As Aiwashi froze as those terrifying eyes settled on him. Protect Shizune. Aiwashi nodded. Captain, are you alright? He asked. Naruto slowly got up with his tanto in his hand. Rest assured, today I will show the enemy the true power of Commander Phoenix. Yes, sir, said Aiwashi as he jumped back and formed a barrier around Shizune and their fallen comrades. 50 plus Onrus against one man. Don't look him in the eyes or you're dead, a Dragon Mask Onru said as many of them nodded in agreement. Let's dance, said Naruto. As he disappeared in a flash, they were shocked when Naruto appeared in front of them. Before they could even lift their blades, 5 of their throats were sliced clean open. As they dropped, clutching their throats, dead. Die, one of them yelled as he sailed 2 Fuma shurikens straight towards Naruto's chest. Then, those weird eyes moved, and the weapons passed right through Naruto's body. He did not move, they passed right through him. Well, what are you? The Dragon Mask Commander said. I'm your worst nightmare, said Naruto. As the Dragon Mask Commander heard screams, 20 of his men was ripped apart, as wooden vines tear through the ground, ripping through them. And for the first time, Dragon was afraid. He can use a Mokiton, Eagle shouted. Dragon, no understood why Onki wanted this boy dead. He was no ordinary boy. As Naruto marched towards the forces, when he tried to hit him, their attacks passed right through him like he wasn't even there. This power made him feel like a god. His opponents were terrified, and he could feel the fear leaking from them. 4 Onrus leaped as they sliced their swords right through him. They stabbed each other as the sword passed right through him. He grabbed the neck of a dog mask Onru and snapped his neck. He placed an explosive tag on it before kicking him so harsh, he crashed into another section of where the other Onrus were. Boom! The explosion went off as bodies were blown to pieces. I thought I could change. I thought I could protect my friends, but no. They're dead, said Naruto to himself. The more he dived into regret and pain, the more power he received. All of his wounds were healed. It was like he was never even injured. Shizune watched as the tanto dropped out of Naruto's hand. His fingers started to change. They were turning into wooden claws. As Naruto's claws ripped the female Onru in half, she dropped towards the ground. She was dead. Why do they take our dreams? Our hope? Why? Said Naruto as he kept on walking, as he stepped over her body. Dragon watched as the boy walked towards him. The look in his eyes was nothing but pure slaughter. Blood dropped from his mask and his claws. But the look in his eyes were so dark. A slaughter was gonna happen. Formation E, said Dragon as 4 of his Onrus, throwing the boy from all sides. The 4 Stone Ninjas leaped forward, preparing to take Naruto's head off. But then something happened. I'll exterminate, said Naruto as one of his claws ripped right through one of their faces, tearing it in half, like a watermelon. All of you, said Naruto. Another claw struck the other one on the left. The other two, though, had their opening. Die, freak! The dragon was shocked as two wooden spear emerged on Naruto's back and ripped through the two anvils that tried to kill Naruto from behind. As a creature, whatever this thing was, looked him straight in the eye. Dragon took a step back in fear as Naruto stepped and crushed the throat of one of the dead anvil. I'll purge every last one of you from this earth. How dare you, one of the female anvil said as she rushed forward. Wait, Dragon screamed, but it was too late. Her sword passed right through him as Naruto grabbed her hair and lifted her up in the air. I'm going to take you to heaven. Katetsu words went through his mind. As Naruto dropped her into the ground, her head exploded under the weight. Naruto started stomping into her face. More. As he stomped and stomped until the ground exploded underneath him. He's gonna kill us all. One of them shouted in fear. Commander, what are your orders? Broken arrow, said Dragon. The remaining soldiers were shocked to hear this, but there was no other choice. Meanwhile, Mikasa and the others were rushing as they saw several explosions. They were getting more panic as they made their way. Just what the hell is going on, said Hana. Why did all of them retreat? She was enjoying taking them down and yet all of them just ran away, like they saw the devil or something. I have a bad feeling about this, Izumo said. I hope they're safe. Don't worry, Naruto is there, and as long as he's here nothing will happen to the others, said the uncle. Try to stay focused, remember, we're still behind enemy lines. Naruto, Armin, please hang in there, said Mikasa, as she increased her speed. Meanwhile, as Naruto tore the last Anbu throat clean open, as his eyes landed on the Anbu commander, Dragon took a step back. All of his 50 men were dead. Luckily, he already initiated Broken Arrow. His men were now falling back. It was really a shame for utilizing Broken Arrow. It was only used once when Minato Namikaze was decimating their ranks. Even Kishikage stood no chance against that man. History had reformed itself. One man, this boy, killed 50 elite stone envoys by himself. This was a real Phoenix commander. The one that they killed was just a decoy. All of them were fooled by that boy as he saw him over there in the barrier. This was a real commander. How are you so strong, said Dragon, as he knew there was no point attacking this boy. Ninjutsu, Fuinjutsu, Genjutsu, nothing at all worked on this boy. It was because of those eyes, those damn eyes. It doesn't matter. You're gonna die anyway, said Naruto as he made the tiger and sign. Dragon prepared himself as a swirling vortex appeared in front of him. Stay down like a dog and die. Fire release. Blast heatwave dance. Stream of flames turned into vortex as they shot towards Dragon. Boom, an explosion went off as something collided with Naruto vortex fire, and dust and debris went everywhere. You're late, said Dragon, but the two people in front of him ignored his remark. On the left side was a male with red hair and mustache. With a beard, he was wearing a large 3-piece headpiece with the headband stone on it, and a piece of armor running across his cheek. The other man was fully decked out in a red armor, with steam coming from him. He was really tall and he had a hat that hid most of his features. The only thing you could see clearly was his light brown eyes. The interesting thing about them were the 4 and 5 tails around their back, from their red cloak that protected the Anbu commander. A wicked smile came on Naruto's face as he recognized who his opponents were. The 4 tails and 5 tails, huh? Said Naruto, in an amusing tone. His enemies did not answer him as their bodies started to get covered in that red chakra once again. As Naruto heard several cracks around him, someone then landed beside him. As Naruto already knew who was beside him. Looks like you're having fun over here, huh, Naruto? Said Baku. Moments later, the rest of them arrived, as Mikasa stood there in complete shock. Renjutsu was holding onto Armin, as Mikasa could not move. Armin. Flashback 3 years ago, boot camp. Mikasa was sitting on top of a mountain. She just finished her training, as she was watching the sunrise. Mikasa! As she heard her name, she turned, as she saw Armin coming towards her. He had on a cheerful smile that made her chuckle. Moron, she thought as he tripped over a stone and landed flat on his face. He gave her a cheaper smile as he dusted himself off and rushed towards her and sat down. What's wrong, Armin? He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small book. Naruto was hiding this, Armin said, in a mischievous tone. She looked at the book. The Tale of a Gutsy Ninja. Armin, you should not take things from Naruto without his permission. Armin pouted like a child. Yes, mother, now can I say something before he finds me and kill me? Mikasa just sighed. What is this book, she asked. It's a book about a peaceful shinobi world. A peaceful shinobi world? Yes. It seems that Naruto really liked this book, He was hiding it from the officers. Maybe his father gave it to him as a parting gift. Armin, we're not supposed to have any personal belongings. The officers will give us detention if they found about this. Forget about that. This book said that all the nations fought, but one day, they united. United? Yeah, a hero. His name was Naruto. He joined all the nations, created a giant one, and brought peace to the entire world. Mikasa started to laugh on hearing that, as Armin looked at her. No way, a silly guy named Naruto can bring peace, she said playfully. He looked at her with a serious determination in his eyes. We can do it too. You, me, and Naruto. We can bring peace to this world, he said. Unlike Naruto and Armin, she didn't think that peace was possible. Is that so, she said. Yeah, he said. And there is so much more in this book. Flaming water, frozen earth. It even has a snow country in it. This is a peaceful, beautiful world. Something that I want one day for all of us. Look, don't tell Naruto, but we will surprise him by achieving his dream, okay? Mikasa gave him a happy smile before nodding. She was surprised when he suddenly hugged her. Thank you for always being there for me, staying by my side. It's no problem, she said. Promise me one thing, okay? Sure, she said. Never abandon Naruto, no matter what. I believe that he can actually change this world. As Armin gave her a bright smile. In the flashback, Armin! As Naruto's shoulders slumped in defeat when he heard Mikasa's cry of anguish. If he did not allow Armin to go, he would still be with him now. So this is your monkey to Sharingan, said Baku. How do you know about these eyes, said Naruto, in a dangerous tone. The man chuckled. Kid, I was the most trusted envoy of Second Hokage. I know all there is to know about the Uchiha clan. So what Tobirama sensei said was true. The Uchihas are really sensitive. Am I supposed to care, said Naruto. Baku was surprised by the response. Ah, you changed. I see that you're no longer a crybaby, and you got control over your emotions. Even if I have grown stronger, nothing has changed. I was wrong about several things. I know my friends are dead. As Naruto looked back at the first company, before he glanced towards Baku. A bait, huh? You're quick, yes. I sent your squad here, knowing about the danger that you'll be in. I wanted information. We didn't have any intel knowing how much soldiers were guarding this place. The information I gave you was hosts. I never expect these two Jinjokis to be here, but due to your man's sacrifice, we have them, and we are fully prepared to capture his castle while defeating these two beasts. So my man were your tools, to be used and sacrificed for your goals, said Naruto. Silence! Every shinobi's our tool. You better get that into your thick skull, said Baku. Seems like you were wrong, Kagami JJ. Naruto thought to himself. Shinobis can't be saviors. They can only be blood-hearted monsters, tools to be used to slaughter the enemies. Step aside, you're running low on chakra. I'll hand it then, Baku said. As Han stepped forward, running low on chakra, said Naruto. Baku had to move back slightly as the explosion of chakra came from Naruto. What the hell? Just how much chakra does this boy have, he thought to himself. As Naruto's eyes landed on Roshi. You will shorten your life if you keep on fighting. Do you want to die? As Naruto gave him a harsh glare. I will never forget Armin's pain, he said. The entire ground started to shake. What is he doing? One of the soldiers yelled. If you don't want to die, then get the hell out of my way, said Naruto. As Naruto moved straight towards Roshi. Do you hate me, Roshi said. But he never got an answer from Naruto. As Baku walked beside Naruto. I'll take the other one. Just don't screw up. Fine, said Naruto. Alright then, said Baku. Let's do this. As hundreds of shurikens were sent towards the man from Naruto. As Roshi did the same. As their shurikens collided in mid-air. Genma watched as Naruto and Roshi engaged each other in a fearsome shuriken jutsu battle. As Naruto was getting upper hand, Roshi armor started to get nicked all over. Roshi flashed in front of Naruto and sent a fist towards his face. But Naruto twisted the way out of it. Not enough, said Roshi as one of his tails grabbed Naruto's leg. As Naruto hissed in pain. But Naruto in front of Roshi disappeared in a flock of crows. The next second something slammed him straight up in the ear. Such strength that launched him straight up. Roshi regained his strength as he landed. As he saw the boy standing there panting. But more than that, from the small holes in his eyes, Roshi could see that the boy's eyes were bleeding. Roshi flashed through hand signs, Naruto did the same, despite Shizune's warning. Using water style against a Jinjoki was useless because of the cloak around them. Lava release, Roshi said. Scorching stream, fire style. Fireball jutsu, said Naruto. Many Blacklight had to leap away to save themselves as the two jutsus collided. As Roshi, lava release started to overpower Naruto fireball. But then, Naruto's eyes twist. Amaterasu, he said. The black flames consume everything, eating away the lava as they rushed towards Roshi. As the man moved as fast as possible to get away. As Naruto dropped as he started to cough up blood. Captain, are you alright? Give me your chocolate pill. Captain, now! Captain, you're in bad condition. Wolf, I've already lost Armin and Katetsu and Yuba. I can't risk your life. Just give me the pills. As Izumo still resisted seeing the bad condition Naruto was in, Naruto reached into his pocket and pulled out the pills. He ate them before Izumo could do anything. Roshi emerged from the smoke, his body covered in lava. He's not dead. When I lost control of my flames, he substituted himself with a dead stone shinobi, said Naruto. Lava fireballs rained from the heavens and struck down 4 black light troopers. As 4 more Roshi popped up into existence, they were clones. Izumo released water from his mouth that slammed into Roshi, but steam appeared as the man cloaked. The heat was too much for the water. It will take a lot more than that, young shinobi. Prepare yourself. As Roshi moved, to his surprise though, all of his clones were destroyed and he got pierced through the legs by wooden spikes that emerged from the ground. Roshi, this is no ordinary boy. He has the Mokidan and the Sharingan, Son Goku said. The 4-tailed Jinchuriki looked towards Naruto as he decided to take him truly seriously. Meanwhile, Han was trapped in mud by Baku as he felt his chakra being absorbed by the mud. But the man exploded out of it. Baku had to dodge as one of Han's tails came down and destroyed the ground. As expected, it would take much more to take down the 5-tailed Jinchuriki. Vapor style, solid fog jutsu. Baku became alert as a giant mist formed around him. But then his uniform, it started to melt. Steam, he cursed as he felt his skin burning and his eyes could barely see around him. There's no choice. I have to summon him right now, Baku thought. His opponent had caught him in the steam. Anyone else would have been dead by now, but Baku could endure the pain, and he had the right weapon to deal with this beast. Summoning Jutsu! With Naruto and the others, they came to a stop as something came from the ground. It had 3 tails and 3 heads, and fire was leaking from its mouth. It can't be. It's impossible, said Izumo in shock. As the mist vanished, Naruto saw a person standing on a 3-headed dog. It was none other than Baku. Han was even shocked by the appearance of the summon. Roshi froze in his place as he realized, what? Baku had summoned a dog, said Naruto curiously. He had seen Sakumo use dog summons, even if they were strong. He doubted that they would be so useful in a battle. It's no ordinary dog. I can't believe the Supreme Commander can summon Cerebus, said Izumo in shock. What? The Guardian of Hell, said Naruto as he realized what this thing was. He knew that the commander was strong, but he never knew that he could summon such beasts. In ancient mythology, it was mentioned that this creature was tasked with the objective of preventing the dead souls from escaping hell. It was said to be the greatest fire summons. Even Phoenix can be killed, but this dog was said to be immortal. He was snapped from his thoughts when Mikasa landed beside him. The look in her eyes were murderous, as she was joined by Genman, Anko, and Hana, the entire first company. The ground then started to shake as both Han and Roshi started to transform. A massive horse that was 100 feet tall emerged. A mixture of a horse and a dolphin. In Roshi's place stood the giant gorilla with 4 tails, its giant fists smashing into the earth. Ghost Company, prepare for combat, said Naruto. His voice stopped the fearful Blacklight members from running away. One by one they pulled their weapons as they were ready to face the 4 tails. He looked at the 5 tails as his summon, growled angrily. As Naruto and the Blacklight members leap, no hesitation, this was for Armin, Katetsu, and Yuba. As Baku looked at Naruto's hateful eyes, as it made him understand what and who Naruto was even more. Hatred was the boy's way of ninja. This boy's interest in Baku, Cerebus said. As Baku nodded, contrary to popular belief, it was not easy to make Cerebus accept you as a summoner. You must either have a strong will to contain the beast or have more darkness than the beast's heart itself. That was the only way that Cerebus would accept you as a summoner, no matter who you are. Baku knew what Cerebus was thinking, as Naruto had a lot of darkness inside his heart. He didn't know what the future had in store for the boy. For his friends, he was a hero and someone that cared about them. But when it comes towards his enemies, he was their worst nightmare. Even if he survived this war, Baku knew that Naruto was not going to be the same ever again. Armin and Katetsu, from what he read, was his 2 closest friends. Cerebus, let's defeat the 5 tails first. Meanwhile, with Naruto, as Naruto's eyes were bleeding heavily, judging from the amount of chakra I have, I can only cast 7 to 8 powerful jutsus. I can try to sort the 4 tails into my pocket dimension, but I don't think I have enough chakra left for that. Plus, it won't go down that easily. Looks like I'll have to use my last jutsu. Ghost Company, get your 3D gear now, said Naruto. He had a plan. If it was gonna work, he need his man help. His eyes shifted towards Mikasa, and he saw the hollow look in her eyes. It was his fault that Armin died. He cursed himself for failing to protect his friend. "Captain, what's that purple stuff?" said Shizune in a terrified voice as Naruto turned his head. "Everyone get back!" Naruto screamed as that large ball started to grow more and more in the Four-Tail's mouth. Naruto felt someone grab his shoulder and tried to pull him back, and he looked to see that it was Mikasa. "We have to get away from the Biju bomb," she said. She was not panicked or anything. It was like she made her peace with death. But Naruto grabbed her hand and gave her a defiant look. "I will change the fate of this world," he said darkly, as he turned to face the Biju bomb. "I have lost Armin. I can't afford to lose you too," she said angrily. Before she could protest, he leaped towards the Biju bomb. "Naruto," she cried out, as the Four-Tail released the Tail Beast bomb. "Kamui," said Naruto, as he slowly sucked it inside his pocket dimension. "Damn it, just a bit more," he said, as his eyes were strained at this point. The Four-Tails then jumped in front of him once he was done, as Naruto was already exhausted from absorbing the Biju bomb, as the thing swung its arm straight towards him. But the Four-Tail was attacked by several massive explosions that slammed on top of it, as Genma landed right beside Naruto, as the other members dropped all of their most powerful technique on it, forcing the thing back. "You okay there, Captain?" said Genma as he held out her hand, as Naruto grabbed it and got to his feet. Soon they were joined by the others. "I need you guys to buy me some time," said Naruto. "I think I can stop the Four-Tails." As more and more blood leaked from his eyes, things started to get blurry, but he shook his head as everything returned back to normal. "What do you need?" said Mikasa, as Naruto pointed towards her eyes. "There is no way any of us can fight that thing head on. Use diversionary attacks and take out his eyes. That will reduce its range. Then use your 3D gear and take it out from all sides. I'll support you as best as I can," said Naruto. All of them nodded in agreement. "Follow me," said Mikasa as she moved. As they all moved towards the Four-Tails, as Mikasa fired her 3D gear to the wall and leaped forward, but the monkey fired a blast from his mouth. It wasn't a Biju bomb, it was much faster. Pure flames. Mikasa cursed as 14 of her men were turned to ashes. "Fire," she said. Hundreds of explosive tags and kunais were fired towards the beast. The thing grabbed and crushed a few of them that tried to take out its eyes, as Mikasa flashed to one side performed her most dangerous jutsu. "Die, you son of a bitch," she said. Dragon of Thunder. Boom! A monstrous dragon made from lightning slammed into the Four-Tails. The shockwave was so powerful many of them were blown away. Mikasa collapsed on the ground as she used a lot of chakra for that technique. The Black Light members grunted in annoyance and badly burned. Four-Tails emerged from the debris. Its red skin had turned black in many places, and fire was still burning on some part of his body. The thing looked towards Mikasa and it shot towards her. "Shit," she said as she fired her 3D gear, as she landed sideways on the wall, as Genma and the others landed beside her. "Let's try. Formation Z." They jumped towards the beast and stabbed into it with their hooks as they sailed towards it. As they pulled out their tanto and aimed for the eyes, Genma swung right in front of the beast's eyes, but the Four-Tail grabbed him. But Genma poofed away, leaving a large stone right in the Biju's palm. As it felt something prick underneath his eyes, the beast was shocked when Mikasa and Anko was right under his eyes. It tried to grab them, but they moved, slice. Their blade covered in so much chakra as they tear into his eyes. The Black Light members were overjoyed when they saw the stream of blood, but Iwashi and Hana placed many explosive seals all over the thing, as Iwashi performed the first seal. Binding sealing technique, as Hana released her seal so it could not move and the explosion slammed into it, throwing it backwards. Now Mikasa yelled. Several members went through hand signs, earth release, earthquake jutsu. The ground shook and it fell down back, as it was like a defeated animal lying on its back. "Captain!" As Naruto flashed through hand sign, swamp of the underworld, the struggling Four-Tails was being sucked down into the earth. Not yet stirring jutsu, as she fired 4 large arrows that struck into the beast, piercing into its hands and legs as it prevented from getting out of the swamp. The thing roared to the heavens and opened its mouth as lava poured out of its mouth straight up in the heavens. "Move," said Mikasa. Hana screamed in pain as some of the lava hit her. Shizune was terrified as many of their forces started to fall lava and hit many of them. Water release, great water vortex technique. A tidal wave of water washed over all of them, preventing the lava from burning them any further. As Naruto appeared beside Hana and picked her bridal style as she hissed in pain. Her right hand was burned badly. She needed medical help quickly. He created 20 water clones. "Get the wounded out of the danger zone." "I'll handle this piece of shit," he said, as he handed to one of his clones. "Don't let the bastard win," said Hana. "Shizune," said Naruto. "Be careful," she said, as she fell back to heal the wounded. With their help in her, As the beast got back up on his feet, one of its eyes were only healed, the other was in the process of healing. It's too strong, Captain, said Izumo. We use our best formation. Get those wounds healed. You have fought bravely. Don't risk your life. But Uncle was stopped as a firm hand was placed on her shoulder. Uncle, that's enough. Here it comes, said Jinma. As the ground shook as the thing rushed towards them, as Naruto gazed landing the four tails. Amaterasu. Black flames consumed the thing's entire body. The thing ran, screaming in pain. To get away from the black flames, but Naruto's eyes were focused on as he add more and more flames. He's controlling them because I thought, whatever the Bichu ran, wherever it went, those flames kept on it. Fire your most powerful jutsus now, said Naruto, as more blood leaked from his eyes. The 60 Black Light members gathered their chakras, they launched everything they had. An explosion went off that was titanic, swallowing everything in its wake. After a minute, they saw the Bichu. It was on the ground, as many of his flesh had been ripped off. As Naruto was on top of the beast, looking it directly in the eyes. It's over, said Naruto. World of illusions. Meanwhile, with Baku, as the five tails slam into Cerberus, as him and Baku release a combination jutsu that burned the five tails, forcing it away. Baku had to deflect several kunais that came towards him as all the members, the stone ninjas that were still alive, shouted, "Kill him," as they launched their kunais. But then several fireballs, lava balls to be exact, slammed right into them. Baku cursed as he turned to see the four tails helping him. What the hell? As Naruto stood on top of the Bichu. Naruto, you subdued the four tails. Baku thought in shock. Kill them all. As Naruto controlled the beast to slaughter the 100 stone envoy that remained. As the five tail came charging back. Flower. Fruit mountain. As lava poured from the four tails mouth that slammed into the five tails. Baku didn't waste any time as both him and his summon also fired their attacks. Water, wind, fire. Lightning combo. Supreme electrified water dragon. The giant dragon slammed into the five tails head on. With the flames coming from the four tails, a massive explosion occurred. Genma and the rest of the other Black Light members came down from the sky as they launched hundreds of kunais, killing several stone envoys in a second. As Baku saw that Naruto came beside him with the subdued four tails. Seems like you won. Not yet, said Naruto. Without another word, he launched the four tails towards the injured five tails. Mikasa was right, this world is merciless, he thought to himself. As the five tails was injured on the ground, Baku's attack had really injured the Bichu badly. The Yanbai released another flower of lava from his mouth that struck into the five tails as the thing cried out in pain. As he jumped off the four tails that started to rip apart the five tails, with Baku and Cerberus in tow. As Naruto jumped down and cleaned the head off of a Kunoichi, he moved through them like a ghost. The name that he was given, his company, as he removed heads, arms, legs. Fight, said Naruto his words, encouraging his friends. It doesn't matter how terrifying this world is, we can win. As everyone started moving in high gear, 3D gears whipped through the air as Mikasa impaled two stone shinobis with a hook. She pulled their heads forward, moving the momentum as she snapped a Kunoichi's neck with her kick. Fight for your country, for your honor, Naruto shouted as dozens of blue arrows struck down dozens of envoys. Coming from Renjutsu, Rado pulled up the kunai in his shoulder as he head-butted a female envoy before stabbing her right in the throat with it. Fight for your brothers, as Iwashi made a hand sign as many of the envoys sealed blood on their body before they dropped down. The envoy commander watched with shock as all of his forces were getting decimated as he looked towards Baku and Cerberus that stood on top of the now dead Jinchuriki. Tishikage-sama, it seems that we lost. Despite the circumstances, despite being outgunned, outnumbered, these kids fought with everything they had. Many of them fell in line of duty, but it was because of that one boy with the phoenix mask. He was the one that gave them back courage, the hope, the will to stand up and fight. As the commander watched, he tried to block, but it was too late as Naruto Tonto cleaned his throat right open. Fight for freedom, Naruto yelled. Silence. As the battle was over, as the commander's body dropped, his head hitting the ground first, Renjutsu collapsed on her knees as she started to cry. Everyone, you didn't die in vain, she said tearfully. Her eyes looked towards her captain, who looked up to the heavens. As Naruto looked towards his man, he saw the tearful look in her eyes. His eyes became moist. Iwashi came forward and handed him the Konoha flag that he brought with him. For our fallen brothers, said Iwashi. As Naruto jumped towards the top of the castle, his eyes shifted towards the Konoha flag in his hand. This is for you, Armin, he said. Baku watches Naruto plant the flag on top of the castle as a small tear escaped his eye. Today, though, Konoha had won the war against Hidden Stone. Because of these brave men and women in action today, and because of Phoenix, who gave them the hope to still going, despite their losses. But guys, to be in tips right here, if you want to see next person do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on the bell notifications to stay posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, stay in tune. No, just kidding. Remember to go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto had the ultimate nature bloodline over in Anime King 3 and enjoyed that, guys. And I also posted a brand new episode over on Anime King of What If Naruto was the legendary neglected Uzumaki. So go ahead and enjoy that. And if you're new, yes, you heard that correctly. I indeed have 3 channels, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, which I post what you fun every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. And yeah, without further ado, what do you say we get the hell out of here? See you guys soon. Peace out.